YouTube, what's going on? Jujubear here. Welcome back to the channel, and also welcome back to our coverage of the 2016 Risk Tournament group stages. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Risk Tournament, opponents build an army, they submit it to admin. There's a 50-50 chance both players will have to swap their armies. Now today, I have a pretty interesting battle here between Soul Invictus and also Hitch Slap of the AVA clan. Soul came to me with a GETAE build, a pretty nice one at that. I seem to be leaning towards this kind of build, but then Hitch Slap came back to me with a build that was previously used by Granitor in one of the last battles that I cast. I don't know if you guys remember, I'll leave a link maybe in the bottom left or something like that. But this particular battle was with the LUSITANI, and it was employing a couple of guerrilla warriors. Now, what happened was there was a swap round. So now Hitch Slap is going to have to use the GETAE build that Soul built, and Soul is going to have to use the LUSITANI build that Hitch Slap used. So we'll see how this pans out. Let's jump into the battle. Yo! Okay, so we have Battle SRI, which is good. I really like this this map. And we have the LUSITANI, which is going to be commanded by Mr. Soul Invictus, or Ashdortus Vrasubathlad. I don't know if I'm going to be pronouncing any of these names or the other names that he's got, but he's elected to employ his LUSITANI guerrillas and guerrilla warriors right at the back there, maybe just as backup units or auxiliary kind of units. Scutari Cav 1, 2, 3 kind of split up. He's got Iberian Slingers 1, 2 in the center, and 2 of them out right on the flanks. He's also got Scutari Spearmen, Veteran Shield Warriors, LUSITANI Nobles out on the flank, and I think something very similar happening here. Yep, exactly the same. Veteran Shield Warriors, LUSITANI Nobles, Veteran Shield Warriors in the center as well. Now, let's check out what Hitch Slap is elected to bring. Bow Horsemen, 2 of them, 1 on each flank. Folksmen, Armored Spears, and Heavy Spears. Folksmen, Armored Spears, Heavy Spears, yep. So very similar thing happening on both flanks with a Spear Horseman also. So very nice little wings kind of built there by Hitch. He's also got 2 Dacian Heavy Bowmen right up the front, alongside a Dacian Heavy Skirmisher. Mercenary Axe Warriors also, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and Noble Swords up the back with a Noble Horseman. Noble Horseman General, these guys are punishing very heavy shot cav. I don't know if you guys have seen a couple of the battles which I use these guys as a 1-2 punch alongside the Mercenary Axe Warriors, but it seems to be working very well. I think a lot of people don't really expect shock cavalry from the GETAE just because they're very expensive and they don't really seem to pay off a whole lot of the time. So we'll see. This is very interesting. I don't know where he's going with these guys. Yeah, cool. Okay, so Soul's elected to bring them back out onto this left flank, which is not a bad idea at all. Hitch is not really being too... He's not going to really explore too much with those Bow Horsemen. He could really afford to bring these guys right out really wide, but then of course that would mean that he would have to micro those units and keep on top of their movements, that kind of thing. So pretty interesting to see that happening. I mean, Soul looks like he's going to be pushing this flank pretty hard and just ignoring this flank completely. Hitch Slap is content to kind of sit where he is and let this happen. He's not really too worried about leaving this this flank just on its own. To be honest, these flanks are not really super powerful. I mean, you just have like Folksmen and some pretty crappy spears. Not the most killing potential kind of brought out in the flanks by Hitch. I think his real killing power is going to be through the center here, alongside these Dacian Heavy Bowmen and Noble Swords also. What are we using here? We got Quick Reload. These guys are going to be able to shred these Iberian Slingers if they can, and it doesn't look like they are focus firing just at the moment. Hitch Slap is prepared to separate his forces up here and take them one-on-one. So Soul's LUSITANI, he's going to be pushing up with these Scutari Cav and pushing back the Dacian Heavy Bowmen. These guys, even though they say they're heavy bowmen, they are light missile infantry, but they are quite good in combat against enemy fucking enemy cav. Just because they carry a double-handed spear, and they have some pretty decent armor as well at 30. Their health is 45 and morale's not the best, but yeah, if you get into combat with those guys, you can expect to them to put up a fight. Over on this flank, I'm actually missing it. These Folksmen got a charge from the Scutari Cav. Those guys are going to get absolutely flattened. Even though they have a very nice bonus versus large, they're not going to be able to get up in time to really make it count against the Scutari Cav. That's actually not true, I lied. They lost 20 men. But these Lusitani nobles are going to come in here and absolutely wreck those Folksmen. Hitch Slap does a really nice move and actually gets his Spear Horseman in. But he gets a misclicked attack order here. And these Spear Horsemen are going to pay dearly by taking the brunt of the charge from the Scutari Cav. These Lusitani nobles are also going to have a field day just hacking their way through the Spear Horsemen. Armored Spear is going to get crushed by those veteran Shield Warriors. And we also have the Scutari Spearmen coming in here to defeat those Spear Horsemen also. So this flank is not looking good for Hitch. He didn't have the counter to these veteran Shield Warriors and Lusitani nobles. He could have dealt with the Scutari Cav and the Scutari Spearmen, but it looks like Sol has done pretty well to win this flank out very convincingly as well. And these Iberian Slingers are absolutely wrecking these Bow Horsemen. It looks like a bit of miss micro from Mr. Hitch Slap. These Dacian Heavy Bowmen are going to be turning around and trying to get some shots in here. These Scutari Cav are going to get a nice charge against the Noble Horsemen, but Hitch's Noble Horsemen are going to absolutely wreck those Scutari Cav. And it looks like Sol's going to try and get his other Scutari Cav in here. Oh, this is bad. Yep, he took a jab volley from the Scutari Spearman, and he's going to have to try and pull out of that. He lost 12 men in the process. So it looks like Hitch is trying to do what he can to kind of defeat different units over here, but with a target-rich environment, he was unable to pick a target, and he got a charge from a Scutari Cav there. These Iberian Slingers also, I don't know what they're... I think they're probably chasing these Spear Horsemen or something like that. But the Scutari Cav are going to be able to chase off the Noble Horsemen and probably get into the Dacian Heavy Bowmen here. These Mercenary Axe Warriors are going to have a great time against the Scutari Spearmen, but Sol Invictus has wisely turned them around and marched them out of there. These Heavy Spears are going to be pulled apart by the Veteran Shield Warriors and Lusitani Nobles. And over here, the Iberian Slingers still don't know what they're doing. I think they're just getting to combat with and tying down the Noble Horsemen, maybe. Don't know if he meant it or not. But these Scutari Cav are going to be turned around and getting straight into those Dacian Heavy Bowmen there. And the Noble Horsemen are content to just hack apart those Iberian Slingers. Yeah, pretty interesting. I don't know. I can't see this going well for Hitch. He's brought his Lusitani guerrillas and guerrilla warriors out here, so they are now spotted. So Hitch can see exactly where they are, and he's going to make a beeline over here to defend his Iberian Slingers against these Spear Horsemen. These Scutari Spearmen are going to be doing pretty much the same thing at blocking. And Hitch is just about to lose his Noble Horseman General here under the weight of sheer numbers. But this just enables Hitch a bit of time to fire him with his Dacian Heavy Bowmen. We're going to picking up a couple of kills here. 28 so far, which is not great. 11 on the other one. He does have a Dacian Heavy Skirmisher that hasn't started firing just yet. But yeah, Hitch's micro is a little bit slow. He's been caught by the Scutari Spearmen, and these Iberian Slingers are going to be coming in here and pouring in the fire. These Noble Swords are going to do quite well against the Veteran Shield Warriors if they can hold out for long enough. They have been put into headhunt, and they're going to pick up a couple of kills here and there, but ultimately the numbers don't really look like they're going to be adding up for Hitch Slap. He's taken too many losses at the start of the match to really bring this around, I don't think. Mercenary Axe Warriors being brought in to defend their heavy skirmishers. Again, these guys are pretty brutal. They are very light missile infantry. I feel like they should be heavy. Like, just make them heavy. Why not? I think Blade Balance did that in one of his mods recently, is change the weight class of these like heavy bowmen and heavy skirmishers. I would totally support that, because if they get charged by cavalry, then at least they don't absolutely crumble at the first charge. So Lusitani Guerrillas and Iberian Slingers doing pretty well to just pour the fire in here. These Noble Swords are actually getting ripped apart by these Veteran Shield Warriors of Sol. Sol's doing really good with the Guerrilla Warriors coming around the flank here and getting into these Mercenary Axe Warriors. So not a bad idea at all. And this just enables Sol to get around here with his skirmishes and get some really nice angles here. You can see this is so nice, like getting some nice little shots in into the flank and the rear of these Mercenary Axe Warriors and Noble Swords. It looks like those Noble Swords did crumble. And Hitch is running out of options here with his skirmishes. He's going to have to try and pull back behind his left flank, which has been brought over. And these Mercenary Axe Warriors are probably going to get a nice jab volley off here, do they? Maybe not. But he does manage to catch them, which is good, and defend his skirmishes also. So those Scutari Cav are going to be brought out of combat, which is not a bad idea at all. These mercenary axe warriors are going under eventually. These Iberian slingers, 70 kills so far, 38. Doing a really great job, being super effective at just getting those angles and getting the kills. They haven't really done too much against the heavy bowmen or anything like that, but I think that doesn't really matter because Sol's Skutari Cav are going to get in here and start wrecking a couple of these different units. But again, these bow horsemen are going to prove pretty a bit of a nuisance for Sol, and they're going to be getting some nice shots in here on the Skutari Cav. But it looks like it's a little bit too late. He's already lost a Dacian heavy bowman. He's probably going to lose a heavy skirmisher very soon. Lusitani Noble's picking up a bunch of kills. Holy fuck balls, 255 on that unit there. Lusitani Guerrillas coming in here, getting a nice charge on those Axe Warriors, just kind of plugging in gaps, finishing off the opponent. So Hitch Slap has been a little bit slow on the micro than usual. He's usually pretty good at this kind of thing. So maybe just an off day. The Lusitani Nobles, again, doing pretty well on this flank against the Armored Spears, as you'd expect. The Armored Spears don't really stand a chance. These heavy spears eventually going to go on to those veteran shield warriors. So I'll just put this in forward for the moment, just to see how it goes. Skutari Cav being lured away from the battle by the bow horsemen. That's okay. That's probably a cost-effective trade. There's only 10 men left in that unit anyway. And the Dacian heavy bowmen, 62 kills, 8 kills for the heavy skirmishers. Man, that sucks. This is a very expensive unit. It would have been very useful at some point in the battle. Triple XP chevrons on the Lusitani Noble. That's pretty intense. 113 on that guy. Guerrilla Warriors. I still think they were used pretty well. Just kind of disguising themselves and moving out to the flank. And it wasn't until a little bit too late that Hitch Slap realized that that flank was really outmatched with the addition of those guerrilla units there. Veteran Shield Warriors also doing very well. And the Iberian Slingers just getting the angles. That was excellent to watch. The Skutari Cav doing a really great job at charging in when they could. It's a bit of a shame. I think Hitch Slap was slow to react to that flank going down under. The heavy spears and armored spears didn't really do much of an effect. The Folksmen were kind of taken out of the fight. So I think it was typical rock, paper, scissors. Sol Invictus was able to get his swords into the spears very easily, and he was able to get his cav into the skirmishes relatively easy as well. So Hitch Slap, probably not the best game. I think there's a couple more matches left in this group so far, Group A. So I think Sol Invictus climbs up the ladder, up that little table there to probably like first or second place. Not really sure just yet. But we'll see how it goes once Sun Sin starts jumping into a couple of games. I know I've seen one game with him against Hitch Slap, and that was a pretty good game with Rome involved. So we'll see how the rest of them go. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the tournament so far. I know I am. And we'll see you guys next time. This is Jujubear saying out. Peace.